Have you ever wondered why 80% of New Zealand is empty? An intriguing question, isn't it? New Zealand, a land of awe-inspiring landscapes, and yet a significant portion of it remains untouched by human settlement. Let's take a closer look at why that is. New Zealand isn't just a single landmass, it's actually composed of two main islands, known rather aptly as the North Island and the South Island. While both islands are breathtaking in their own right, they offer vastly different geographical landscapes. The North Island, home to about 3/4 of the country's population, is known for its vibrant cities, sprawling farmlands, and geothermal wonders. On the other hand, the South Island, with its towering mountains, deep fjords, and expansive plains, is largely uninhabited. Now you might be wondering, why is there such a disparity in population distribution? Well, it all comes down to the geographical layout. The South Island's rugged terrain and challenging weather conditions make it less conducive to large-scale human settlement. It's not that it's inhospitable, but rather, it's simply more challenging to live in compared to the relatively mild conditions of the North Island. Then, there's the issue of population density. With a population of just over 4.5 million people, New Zealand has one of the lowest population densities in the world. In fact, for every square kilometer of land, there's less than one person. That's like having an entire football field to yourself. It's easy to see why such a vast country with such a small population has so much uninhabited land, but it's not just about geography or population. There's a deeper historical context to this as well. So, as we journey further into the heart of New Zealand, keep in mind this vast empty land that we're exploring. It's a place of solitude and tranquility, a place where nature reigns supreme. But it's also a place filled with stories. Stories of a land that has largely remained the same for centuries. A land that has been shaped by its isolation and its unique geological history. Now let's dive into the historical reasons behind this low population density. New Zealand's history plays a crucial role in its sparse population. As we delve into the annals of history, we find that humans arrived in New Zealand relatively late compared to other parts of the world. It was around 800 years ago that the first settlers, the Polynesians, found their way to these isolated shores. These pioneers, who would later become known as the Maori, established a vibrant, unique culture deeply connected to the land and the sea. However, the arrival of Europeans in the 19th century marked a significant turning point for New Zealand's indigenous population. These new settlers, predominantly from Britain, brought with them advanced technologies, different societal structures, and an insatiable desire for land. This collision of cultures led to a series of conflicts known as the New Zealand Wars, which resulted in substantial land loss for the Maori. The Treaty of Waitangi, signed in 1840, was supposed to protect Maori rights and land, but due to differences in interpretation and breaches of the treaty, a significant portion of Maori land was unjustly confiscated or purchased under duress. This loss of land had a profound effect on Maori communities, disrupting their traditional way of life and leaving many displaced. In the wake of these events, the European settlers, known locally as Pakeha, began to expand their settlements across the country. They cleared vast tracts of native forests for farming and built towns and cities. However, the challenging terrain and the desire to preserve the country's natural beauty meant that many areas remained untouched. As a result, New Zealand's population became concentrated in a few urban centers, leaving the majority of the country sparsely populated. Fast forward to today, and the effects of this history are still evident. Despite efforts to redress past injustices and return land to Maori ownership, the population distribution remains skewed. The urban centers continue to grow while vast expanses of the country remain virtually uninhabited. These historical factors have shaped the population distribution we see today. New Zealand's unique environment has also contributed to its low population density. Let's take a moment to explore this fascinating aspect. New Zealand, often called Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud, is known for its breathtaking landscapes. From snow-capped mountains to rolling green hills, the landscape is as diverse as it is beautiful. However, this picturesque terrain also poses a significant challenge when it comes to human settlement. Much of New Zealand's landmass is made up of mountainous regions, which are not only difficult to access but also challenging to develop for housing or agriculture. These regions, including the Southern Alps and the rugged ranges of the North Island, account for a substantial part of the country that remains uninhabited. But it's not just the challenging terrain that keeps these areas devoid of human habitation. The country's commitment to preserving its unique biodiversity plays a significant role as well. New Zealand is home to a plethora of unique species, many of which are not found anywhere else in the world. From the kiwi, a flightless bird that has become a national symbol, to the ancient kauri trees that tower over the North Island's forests, the country is a treasure trove of biodiversity. To protect these unique species and their habitats, large swaths of land have been set aside as national parks and reserves. These protected areas cover around 30% of the country's land area, further reducing the available space for human settlement. The government's commitment to conservation is not just about preserving the country's natural beauty, it's also about protecting the ecological balance that these species contribute to. So, while the vast open spaces of New Zealand may seem empty, they are in fact filled with a rich tapestry of life. They are home to countless species that rely on the untouched landscapes for survival. They are a testament to the country's commitment to conservation and a reminder of the delicate balance that exists between humans and nature. The commitment to preserving nature has resulted in a large part of New Zealand remaining empty of human habitation. Economic factors have also played a part in shaping New Zealand's population distribution. The country's economy, you see, is heavily based on agriculture. This sector employs a significant portion of the population and contributes a substantial chunk to the nation's GDP. However, the nature of agriculture and its spatial requirements have influenced how the land is used. Large expanses of land are needed to raise sheep and cattle, grow crops and cultivate vineyards, which are the mainstays of New Zealand's agriculture. This has led to vast areas of the country being dedicated to farming, resulting in these regions remaining sparsely populated. On the flip side, the rise of the service industry and the concentration of job opportunities in urban areas have attracted people to cities. Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch, for instance, are the economic powerhouses of the nation, offering a range of employment opportunities in sectors like finance, technology, education, and healthcare. Even tourism, a significant contributor to New Zealand's economy, is more focused on the country's natural beauty, which is predominantly found in its less populated areas. Yes, tourists flock to the cities, but the allure of the breathtaking landscapes, pristine beaches, and majestic mountains often leads them to the less populated regions. Yet, despite the influx of tourists, these areas remain largely uninhabited. Why? Well, the tourism industry is often seasonal, and the jobs it offers are not always permanent, so it doesn't necessarily encourage long-term settlement. Moreover, the cost of living in cities, despite being high, is often offset by higher salaries and improved access to amenities, making them more attractive to people seeking better economic opportunities. In conclusion, the nature of New Zealand's economy, which is largely agricultural and service-based, has resulted in a population distribution that is heavily skewed towards urban areas. It's the pull of the city life, with its promise of better job prospects, that has left much of the country unpopulated. Urbanization and the nature of New Zealand's economy have left much of the country empty. So why is 80% of New Zealand empty? To answer this, we've taken a journey through time and space, exploring the unique circumstances that have shaped this island nation. We've discovered that the late arrival of humans to these shores played a significant role in preserving the land's natural beauty and vast emptiness. Unlike many parts of the world where human civilizations flourished thousands of years ago, New Zealand didn't see its first human footprints until around the 13th century. Then we delved into the historical context, witnessing how the waves of colonization affected the land and its people. The European settlers brought with them new technologies, agricultural practices, and societal structures that forever changed the landscape of New Zealand. However, they also caused a shift in population distribution, with many moving to urban areas for better opportunities, leaving vast tracts of land uninhabited. Next, we ventured into the heart of New Zealand's unique environment. The country's diverse landscapes, ranging from majestic mountains to breathtaking coastlines, have played a crucial role in preserving its emptiness. These natural features not only make large parts of the land inhospitable for large-scale human habitation, but also contribute to its conservation efforts, keeping the land untouched and pristine. Lastly, we explored the economic influences that have affected population density. Despite being a developed nation, New Zealand's economy is primarily based on agriculture and tourism, industries that don't necessarily require large populated areas. This economic structure has allowed for the maintenance of vast, uninhabited lands, contributing to the country's low population density. As we've seen, The reasons behind New Zealand's emptiness are complex and multifaceted, shaped by a combination of historical, environmental, and economic factors. It's a testament to the country's unique history and its commitment to preserving its natural beauty. All these factors have led to New Zealand's low population density, making it one of the least crowded countries in the world.